So it might just be you today. Today I was going to kind of go through, hit up a little bit of, what people are doing and kind of discuss what people are doing with their SOI and, how we're, helping the people that we know. Um, if you're not in a position to talk, I can just kind of tell you my thoughts and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time on here. I don't know anything about what the group's about, but I was
Oh,
hoping to learn a little bit more. So since it's you and I only, if nobody else jumps on, maybe we can shift the conversation to telling me a little bit more about what this group is about.
yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, that way I can understand, how or where it fits in with what I'm doing as well.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you for joining. How'd you hear about us?
Oh, somewhere on Facebook. I
Okay.
really don't know. Whatever you're doing is showing up on my feed.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I'm one of the founders, and we started the Productive Aging Collective because we just really haven't seen anything out there that is really a collective way to help agents, loan officers, and senior industry professionals about collaborating together, masterminding, and really helping seniors on a higher level, seniors and their families on a higher level. Um, Myself, I am a real estate planner, so I help people build, protect, and transfer wealth. I help them plan for the future and beyond. I am a licensed agent, so I do help people sell their homes. Felicia is out of Florida. She is an agent as well. She also has a background. She used to work for assisted living communities as a marketing director and executive director, so she really has in-depth knowledge about, the actual communities and the pain points and things like that. She also has her own networking group that she leads in the senior space that has, I think, over 100 people in it. She does a really good job. And then Paul is what's called a perspective coach. He helps agents and loan officers and really different professionals learn how to collaborate together, build your board of directors, and build a business that's just not just about the transaction, but really taking the client and expanding the ecosystem of what we can offer and how we help them. Um, so we do, each one of us does a morning call like today. Today is so every Friday at 8:30 I do mine. I think Felicia's on Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken, and Paul's on Mondays. And then we have a paid membership portion of what we're doing where we actually go into blueprints and marketing ideas and further knowledging whether someone's just getting in the space or someone's specialized in the space for the last 20 years, making sure they can get some value out of what we're offering, some teaching, some best practices. Because ultimately, again, we've done our, some of us are CSA certified, some of us are CAP certified, some of us went through different, like the Real Estate Institute, and just didn't really see anything that was like, okay, here's people that have actually done it on a high level. Now, how do they do it, and are they going to be willing to share their blueprints without it costing an arm and a leg, so that we can help more seniors and their families. So that's
Okay.
what we do in a nutshell. Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about your
Okay, great.
business.
I'm going to ask you to bear with me. I'm transferring from my car into my office. I'm going to take you with me. I see someone else
Perfect.
joined. If you would give me about a 5 minute transition time, I'm going to stay on with you, but turn my mic off. Is that okay?
Perfect. Yeah, yeah, no worries.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Hi, Christine. How's it going? Oh, your mic's not working. Check your audio. Sometimes it gets switched to speakers and copy. Yeah, sometimes there's on the Zoom thing itself, there's a little microphone. If you click on the arrow right next to it, Sometimes it's as simple as just selecting a different microphone. Um, if you have external speakers, sometimes they get hooked up the wrong. If that doesn't fix it, then it's probably going into your settings in the actual computer, which is would then be, it depends on what kind of computer you have and all that stuff. But I thank you guys, thank you for coming. Again, on these Fridays, it's just a mastermind of ideas. We sometimes will go over scenarios of what if there's a scenario with a client, or maybe like how to work with a professional, kind of leaving it open-ended. I just did a master class on how to bring value and how to get business and be a bigger service for seniors and their families through our own SOI, our friends, our families, people that we know, our ecosystems. And so we went in depth about that. So I was going to kind of just touch on, based on that, of like, how do we, sorry, there's like a bug. There we go. How do we do better for the people that we know? Because I believe it's our responsibility and our duty to first start with the people that we know. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the country, most people have at least 300 people in their phone. And so I always test everybody. I've coached over 1,000 agents across the country, and I haven't met one that doesn't at least have 300 people in their phone. And one of the things I always hear is, oh, but these are, and they'll give an excuse, or I just moved from Georgia to Florida. So those are people I met in Georgia. And I always ask them, so does that mean that people in Georgia aren't buying homes anymore or don't need your help? Because I just got a $6,000 referral from someone that, I don't live in Vegas. I've never lived in Vegas. Yet I referred a client who lives in Vegas and sold or and bought a home. And more than likely, he's going to sell a home. So it's going to be about $12,000 worth of commissions to me. That's not a bad day. I didn't have to get sucked into it. So I think also when we specialize helping seniors and their families, and we're really make it a point to make people aware that's what we do and that's what we specialize in. Less than 1% of agents across the country actually specialize in this. And it's one of the reasons why we started the Productive Agent Collective, is because even if someone wants to, a lot of agents just aren't equipped to be able to help seniors and their families on a high level. Because as most people know, it's not just about selling the home. There are so many different obstacles that come around with it. There's so much nuances, and there's so many more resources that you need, more than just the title, escrow, home inspection, home warranty, home insurance. There's so much more involved into it. So we're, do these calls as well to help people understand or help them make relationships and partnerships with these people. So that is me beatboxing for a little bit. I know, Christine, you can't talk, but if you want to put in the chat, kind of where you're at or what you're hoping for, if there's a scenario, a situation, or any kind of information, this is your guys' moments. Lori's going to jump in here too as well, and then Michelle, when you do get a chance to come back on, we can just kind of pick up the conversation right where we left off as well.
Cool. So I'm at my desk now. I can talk a little bit, but I do have to talk and work. So I'm a Compass Plus agent,
Okay.
and I'm not sure how many of your folks are. I've been working in the senior space for about 5 years. I belong to another very prolific group across the country, and mastermind every morning at 9 a.m. with them. And then I'm in agreement with you that this is what people don't understand is that this is a highly specialized segment of the market that needs to be treated totally differently from every angle. My husband and I created a company last year out of what we were already doing. So we were already doing what we then monetized, called Move Forward. Move Forward LLC is the what I call downsizing management portion of a senior move. So sometimes 2 to 3 years, 5 years ahead of when people think they're going to move. They can call us in, and Move Forward handles everything in front of the sale sign. So as soon as a home to get the house to the point where you can put it on the market. So we bring in the estate sale people, the online auctioners, the clean out guys, the pickers, the move managers, the movers. We professionally clean the home. We do all the renovations and updates, the landscaping, etc. And then we transition to our realtor hat. At that point, the Move Forward program, which is trademarked, my signature program, that is pretty much over with. Then my husband and I take over and we do the staging photography and sell the home. So it's a one-stop shop, if you will. It's hand over the keys and go live your life, and we'll tell you when to show up for settlement. The seller stays in control of all the financial decisions. I get paid at settlement. Move Forward takes a separate fee on a separate contract. We don't cross over into the real estate world with Move Forward. That way, if the home doesn't sell for any reason, we still get paid if we've done our work. And I have a huge network of all of the pieces and parts that go into making that happen for someone. So, for example, Friday or the other day, I listed what I would call a hoarder home. And I had my picker come in, and he discovered that there were tens of thousands of dollars worth of a certain type of collection. And so they stand to make a lot more money because we were able to bring the folks in that could identify what they needed. A regular realtor, as we all know, typically comes into the deal maybe at the beginning of all this, but really isn't as hands-on as we need to be to help these seniors and their families actually make the transition. It's very difficult, extremely emotional, can get a little expensive, but we just act as guides, just like you guys do, with their best interest at heart, and try to help them get to the finish line safely and faster than they normally would be able to on their own. So I hope that gives you a good idea.
Yeah, perfect. We have a very, very, very similar model. Mine's called the Complete Senior Transition Specialist. We have the Complete Senior Planning Solution. So we help with the downsizing, organizing, packing, moving, estate sales. We will do repairs, but out here we treat every home like a new construction home. So we let the buyer choose on how to renovate the home. It helps them get the seller get a lot more money for it. But love it. We're partners with Matt Paxson from the show Hoarders and Filthy Rich.
Yeah.
Um,
Todd Emmerich
so
is actually my next phone call. So I'm with you on that. They're
okay,
invaluable, those guys.
perfect. Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually one of the investors on Clutter Cleaner and
Cool.
Transition Brands. So that's what we're trying to do is trying to help others do the same thing that we're building up. So
Well, I think what you're doing is really, really important. And I am waiting to see who of, the big box stores in real estate formalizes it first. As in terms of it being an actual model, real estate model, separate and above. SRES is just a toe in the water, right? It doesn't really give you the background, the knowledge that something like a CAPS or a CSA will do. So while you don't have to have that, I really admire that you have that and that you've gone that deep and invested that much in this area because frankly, these seniors, they need it.
yeah.
They need more
And
people like you.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you just brought that part. Well, thank you, but and you as well. I what I've done, I actually joined a brokerage called Axon and Nexa Mortgage. We started a senior planning division to
Mhm.
bring this model to the entire brokerage because I do agree
Mhm.
with what you just said. You need a brokerage that supports you, understands it, and is willing to put the resources into doing it. So we're getting people certified. It's a year-long program. It's more intense than the CSA. You get certified in trust, probate, senior relocation transition specialist, capital gain tax specialist, DSTs, family feud prevention planning. And then we have the partnerships to say, hey, if you guys don't have your own or you don't want to be an entrepreneur in all these different businesses, here's the partnerships for you. Here's the leads and opportunities for you. So that's what we're building. And what you just said, I'm baffled that there's not a brokerage that says, I only help seniors because it's the biggest, largest segment in the industry. It's the one that'll separate you from AI and from the dancing TikTok influencers and from the selling OC type of realtors, like the Ryan Serhants of the world, because seniors don't need that or want that. They need a
No,
hand holding someone before,
yeah,
during, and long after the transaction. So that's what we're building with Accent Realty. Um, and Nexa Mortgage, because I do believe that we should have a reverse mortgage specialist division, which that's what Nexa Lending, sorry, Nexa Mortgage,
I
but
know
Nexa
next up.
Lending has created.
Mhm.
So that's
I
what,
do.
yeah, that's what we got going on.
Look
I got
excellent.
nine more minutes because I do have to jump on at 9 o'clock. We usually go about a half an hour to an hour. Today I have a 9 o'clock meeting.
Sure. And I don't want
Um,
to take everyone's time, so please move
no,
or
yeah,
whatever you need to do.
I think it's valuable what you shared because I think, your model, people need to understand that like it works and it's so much more
Yeah.
powerful. And I love how you said, hey, we separated the two where, this model works way before, and sometimes it's 3 to 5 years beforehand. And then we actually switch it over once it's ready to go, then we switch over to this part. So that's awesome. Is capital gain tax a big obstacle where you live?
It can be. It depends. I'll say that. Our average home price here in this county is around 650.
Okay.
Um, but and we have a lot of longtime homeowners, as you guys, do.
Yeah.
It just depends on what they're doing with it.
Okay.
Because senior living is expensive here.
Yeah.
Like if you've had a house you've lived in for 30 years and I sell it for 1 million, you're going to pay 750.
Oh, you froze. Michelle, I don't know if you can hear us, but you froze. Um, I don't know if anybody else, while we're waiting for her to unfreeze, if anyone else has a scenario, an obstacle, something they want to go through. Christine, I'm going to answer yours in the chat. You said, I'm struggling to get clients, even though I do networking with caregivers and senior homes and township activities, and I need to follow up. Oh, there you are, Michelle. I need a follow up process to keep connected. So, one, I would say I always start with the clients first. And every single person on our phone, depending on our age, is either going through it right now. They will be going through it in the next 3 to 5 years, and or they have a parent, a mom or dad. If they're young enough, maybe they have a grandparent. So just starting with the 100 people on our phone, you will have enough business because I always say if we have 100 people, that's really 1,300, like my age, that's 1,300 people I have access to. Because if they have a mom and a dad, if they're married, they got two moms and two dads. If they're young enough, they got four grandmas and four grandpas. If they're divorced, they got eight grandmas and eight grandpas. Like it just keeps them expanding. If you're, maybe you're yourself are 60 to 70 years old or 50 to 75 years old, well, then people that you're aged with are going through this with their parents or will be going through it with themselves. Maybe they have aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters. Uh, so when we start there and we start telling and sharing people what our brand is, and we making them aware of the different pain points, the the crisis mode that happens when people don't plan and they're not proactive in their planning. That's like the biggest message I tell people is just, I'm not trying to get you to move tomorrow, but God forbid a crisis was to happen. Where's it that you'd want me to advocate for? Where have you looked at the senior living communities? Do you know which ones are available? Which ones you would like to go to? How are you going to pay for it? Is your house into a trust? If you get dementia or Alzheimer's, you don't even have the power to sell your own home without going to conservatorship, which could cost you $16,000. But an estate plan could cost you 1,500, 3,500, 5 grand, just depending on your state and the necessities of documents that you need. That's a lot cheaper than 16,000. And if the crisis mode happens, you're going to want to be able to act quickly, not wait for conservatorship in California. It could take you 3, 6, 9 months. Even an emergency conservator ship takes about 30 to 60 days. Well, if you broke your hip and you're stuck into a system or into a skilled nursing facility, you're not going to want to wait 30 to 60 days to go get the care you need. So that those are the things I would first start with. Now, when you're talking networking with caregivers, I think caregivers and in-home care people are great because they're ahead of it of when the crisis mode happens. They'll probably be the first one to know when the home isn't going to work out for them anymore. You have to build a lot of trust, and it takes 12, 18, 24 months to build up that trust. These are people that they're essentially living with and helping take care of. They're, trustworthy. They don't know about real estate, so they're afraid to introduce to someone. And most agents don't understand how to help seniors and their families. The ones I think would be a better suited fit is going to the assisted living communities, because those ones are doing all the marketing to get and attract the people who are going to be moving into these communities, usually within a 6-12 month period. You show them and bring them value. And I always say, like, the smartest person, or not the smartest person, the smartest method I've seen in real estate when it comes to assisted living communities is one very similar to title reps. Think about a title rep. They come into your office, they bring an item of value, and is there anything I can help you out with? And the next week they come back with something different. Maybe it's a calendar, maybe it's a tool, maybe is there something I can help with? And you'll notice they'll keep coming back every single week. And all of a sudden, eventually, someone's going to say, you know what? I have a deal for you. And they're going to give them their first deal. And then generally after that, you don't switch title companies, or title reps, I should say. I would do the same thing, or I do the same thing with me and my team. We go and visit these communities, we tour the communities, then we set up a strategy session with the executive director, marketing director, and at that point in time, we just go and visit these communities once a week. We bring an item of value, we bring a success story, we try to volunteer, we try to set up a lunch and learn, so that we're constantly bringing value, but as well as we're constantly being seen. We are not the first people they think of. They spend a bunch of money to market their community. The person wants to move in, but then they say, I got to sell my house first. And a lot of times they go, okay, let us know when that happens. Well, if they had someone they trusted, they'd say, you know what? Here's a person. I just got yesterday alone. One community referred me 2 different families. The cool thing is the CCRC, so they got to pay $2 million to get in. So they're usually like a $2 and $3 million home. Those are the good ones.
Where are you
Uh,
located, Corey?
I'm in California, Southern California.
Where
Uh,
at?
well, I live in a town called Westlake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me and my team, we cover from San Diego to San Francisco. So I have
So
a pretty.
I'm actually from Pacific Palisades.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect. So yeah, you're a
Okay.
hop, skip, and jump away from me,
Well,
or
not anymore. I mean, there kind
yeah.
of is no, we
Um,
never, never mind.
So yeah, so that's what, I would say is the thing. And so again, please keep showing up every Friday. We do have a membership site of this, that we have a master class on Thursdays, but our mastermind calls in the mornings, Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, they're all free, and they're all to try to get people to bring them value, answer your guys' questions, and to help seniors and their families on a high level, and hopefully change the industry's responsibility, because again, 72% of the business last year involved somebody 55 years and older. We're about to enter in the biggest wealth transfer in the history of civilization, and no one really understands how to help them, and no one's really specializing in marketing and branding for it. So you're going to either have a TikTok dancing realtor take over the transaction, or someone that actually truly understands how to help them and has a heart to do so. But it is our responsibility to get that message out there, because sadly, most people are not doing that. And I always ask everyone, you want to know where to get leads? You want to know how I did 77 transactions last year? I called the people on my phone. That's how I got my 77 transactions. Well, 85% of them. Maybe a couple of them came from assisted living communities and such. But once the marketing director gets into my phone, I call them and treat them just like I would every other core person. Call them once a month, introduce, see what's going on. So that's why I got to jump on. I do apologize. But I hope to see you guys next Friday. We're here every Friday, 8:30 a.m. And feel free to reach out if you guys need any help with anything.
Thank you, Corey.
All right. Thank you guys.